Namaste viewers and welcome to Bend It Like LD. I'm coming out with a video after a very long time, and today's video is based on a request by a lot of my viewers for yoga videos based on different themes. But I must confess that I have myself been slackening in my yoga practice for the past several months with all my nutrition practice and my yoga classes taking a lot of my time. But of course, no excuses. So here we go for today. Yoga for knees, which obviously means yoga for knee strength, yoga to alleviate knee pain. And when we say knees, it also obviously means it's a yoga practice that targets your lower body completely, your hamstrings, your lower back, your quadriceps, your glutes, and your feet as well. So let's get started. Sitting up nice and tall in any comfortable posture, as always, keeping your spine erect. Gently breathing in and breathing out first. My yoga practice has been a little rusty, so please excuse me if you see any errors. I've really not been practicing myself for a very long time, but I've decided that I'm going to get back to my practice with complete commitment and discipline from now onwards. So you're probably going to see a lot more videos coming up now. And once you're completely steady and stable, slowly open your eyes. As always, keep 2 blocks with you, keep a belt with you. You will be needing them since it's also a kind of a restorative practice. You will need props to help you. So as usual, starting with a couple of cat and cow stretches to kind of wake up the spine, as I call. So as you inhale, drop your back, lift your chest and shoulders, coming on to Vinyasa first, keeping your knees hip distance apart, palms directly under your shoulders. About 5 rounds of cat and cow stretches to kind of get the spine activated, to get your upper back, your core, everything going there. I really haven't done too many warm-ups in this video, but please feel free to do a couple of sun salutations to kind of loosen up the body and to lighten up the body. So once you're done with a couple of cat and cow stretches, holding them for about 5 breaths in both the cat and cow position, slowly stretch your arms in front of you and gently draw your chest towards the mat, without putting too much pressure on your shoulders or on your upper back, keeping your hips above your knees. And tucking your toes, slowly lift your knees off the mat, moving to Parvatasana. And slowly kind of bending your knees, drawing your chest towards your thighs, easing into the poses gently. Couple of times, lift your heels all the way up, bring your chest towards your thighs, drawing your navel towards your spine. About 2 or 3 rounds of this to kind of open up the back of your legs first. And slowly walking your heels up and down. I call this as waking up the legs or waking up the feet. This is really a nice step to kind of open your hamstrings, feel that little movement across your legs all the way to your feet. So walking your heels up and down on either side, maybe about 5 rounds, 10 rounds. Do as much as you wish to, till the point where you feel that you're kind of warmed up enough in your lower body. Like a gentle cycling action. And gently moving forward from there to a plank, and then dropping the hips down, lifting the chest up, like kind of create like a spinal wave, like lifting the hips up as you kind of gently curve towards a plank. And from there, drop your hips down, lift the chest up. Your knees, of course, can always be on the mat if you find it uncomfortable. And exhale back to Parvatasana. So we call this as a spinal mountain wave, like from a mountain to a plank, to an upward facing dog, and then back to a mountain pose. About 3 to 5 rounds of that to kind of wake up the entire body, to feel all your muscles acting, and slowly lifting the hips up, gently tippy toe towards your palms. Bend your knees softly and hold opposite elbows and gently give a swing to the right and the left, keeping your upper body completely relaxed, keeping your knees soft. Slowly take your palms behind your ankles, drawing your chest towards your thighs, gently shifting your weight towards your toes, Take your palms under your knees, extending to a flat back or Ardha Uttana, squeezing the shoulder blades in and slowly curl up. Hands to your hips and relax. Also, let's do a little bit of work for the lower back and the spine to kind of just warm them up and to get them prepared. So slowly take your palms behind and gently push your hip forward. Walk your palms slowly down. Keep your knees soft. Now, this is something that you need to see how comfortable you are in doing a back bend. So go back only as much as you feel comfortable. But the idea is to kind of lift the chest muscles up towards the ceiling and don't kind of compress your back. Keep lifting through the chest and slowly fold forward. Do this a couple of times. So when we say yoga for knees, it's kind of very tricky, right? Because whenever we say knee strength or knee pain, we really have to look at it holistically and not just look at the knee joint. Because, it is connected to all your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your sciatic nerve, your piriformis nerve. So it's important to kind of work the entire lower body and also your core and your lower back. So it's not just the knee when you talk of knee. And it's a very important point to remember whenever you want to strengthen the knee joint. And from there, slowly hold your big toes, coming to a nice Padangustasana. Bend your knees. As you exhale, bend the elbows, drawing your chest towards your thighs. Of course, you always have the belt. I will be showing you how to use the belt as well. Do this a couple of times, like bending the knees and straightening the knees without putting too much pressure on the back of your knees at this point. And most importantly, what is important in any forward bend is to keep your upper body relaxed. This is a common mistake we see across many students, which probably even I used to do when I was learning yoga initially, is we kind of tend to strain the shoulders, we kind of tend to tense the neck muscles, but it's really important to kind of relax the upper body and make sure all the work is from your legs or from your hamstrings. So if you're using a belt, take it under your feet, hold the belt with both palms and gently bend and straighten the knees as much as you can. Holding your big toes, Padangustasana. Again, if you see, upper body is relaxed. There is no tension in the neck or in your shoulders. Work is all only on straightening the back of your legs as much as your body allows you, which is why the belt is very, very useful. And give a counter stretch by pushing your hip forward and giving a gentle stretch back. So grab a block. Now keep a block lengthwise between your thighs. So start it just above the knees and squeeze it between your legs into Tadasana first. Using a block is very helpful here because it kind of helps to make your adductors or your inner thighs work, which actually, if you see, we don't really use them so well when we practice regularly. We don't kind of use those muscles so much. So this is a practice when you keep a block and you squeeze the block, because obviously you can't let the block go down. So it forces your adductor muscles to work. And that's also a very crucial point in keeping your knees healthy. And from there, moving to a Utkatasana by pushing the hip back, stretching the arms forward, tuck the tailbone, pulling the belly in. Two very important points as usual. So inhale, push the hip back, squat down into Utkatasana or chair pose. So make sure that you can see the tops of your toes when you squat back so that your knees are not going beyond your ankles. And from there, draw the navel to your spine, tuck the tailbone. Shoulders again, as I said, are completely relaxed and release. Do this about 3 to 5 times to learn how to work with the block, to learn how to engage your adductor muscles. So if you notice, probably it's not visible here, but I'm still squeezing the block between my thighs. So you may not feel it, but my thighs are on fire here. So try to keep the upper body relaxed. Pulling the belly in, breathing in and out throughout the practice. Very important to keep your inhalation and exhalation active. And from there, slowly relax in child's pose. Bring the knees to the edges of the mat. Extend your arms forward and relax. Now, for those of you who cannot go all the way back towards your heels, you can of course keep a block at a mid-height. Sit on the block and extend your arms. So remember, whenever you're working on any strengthening practice or any practice that alleviates pain, you must always try to make it a little more of a restorative practice so that you're not overstressing the muscles. This is a very important aspect, especially when we work with important joints like your knees or your lower back. So very important to keep them stress-free. Moving to Parvatasana from there, slowly step to the front of your mat and come up all the way. So we're going to work a little bit on Warrior 2 or Veerasana, but we're going to do that using a block. So separating your feet about 4 to 4.5 feet apart, depending on your height and your hip flexibility. Now grab a block and keep that block under your right foot. Again, as I said before, using blocks, using props are a very helpful way to kind of release the pressure from the joint, creating more space in your hips, allowing you to explore a wider range of motion. So separate the feet, bend the right knee over the right ankle. If you look at it, you have a straight line from the right knee to the right ankle. Place your entire foot, distribute your weight on the block. Now make sure all your foot is on your left foot. So push into the outer edges of your left foot as I'm showing here, and bend the right knee to a Warrior 2 or Veerasana 2. And because you're using a block, you can always hold them for a longer period of time. So breathe in and breathe out and try to hold them for about a minute or so if you can. And gently release. Warrior 2 again is very important because it helps to stretch your outer hips, stretch your thighs, stretch the legs. So allows a freer range of motion, opens the front of your thighs, opens your inner thighs, allowing the knee joint and therefore all the nerves to kind of expand out nicely. So think of that left knee. If you notice, for a lot of people, the left knee will cave in. So push that knee out consciously so that the left knee is above the left ankle. Work on drawing the belly in. Don't lean to the right or left. Make sure your shoulders stay above your hips. And simply bend your left knee. Stretch your arms out to the sides. All the weight on the right foot for Warrior 2 on the left side. Breathing in and out here. Focusing on rotating the hips outwards so that your inner hips start working. So that your hip flexors open up. And once you're done with about 30 seconds or 1 minute, slowly release. So obviously these videos are a little sped up because, we want to create shorter videos so that it's easier. So you obviously can always pause the video anytime, hold it for a longer time, and then resume the video again in your practice. And slowly lie down on your back, bend your knees. Grab a block again. So what we did in Tadasana, we're going to do the same thing. Squeeze the block lengthwise between your thighs. Nice and firm. So obviously you're going to use your adductor muscles here again. And we're going to do some glute and bridge lifts, Setubandhasana, just to activate the back of your thighs, the back of your hips. So palms by the sides of your hips. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Make sure your knees are rolling in towards the block. As you inhale, squeeze your glutes and lift the hips up. Exhale, touch the mat. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, release all the way down. Do it slowly. Do it with awareness. Squeeze the block every time you lift up. About 5 to 6 rounds, or as much as you can, and slowly release the block. And relax for a few breaths. You can just do a gentle twist to kind of get some relief from the lower back in case that's hurting. So we're going to do a little bit of work for your hamstrings now. A lot of time we work on stretching the hamstrings, but it's also very important to strengthen your hamstrings as well. So once again, we're going to take a block under the left foot. So make sure that your left ankle and knee are kind of in one straight line. And then slowly do a couple of hip lifts. And we're going to lift the right leg up now. And we're going to do bridge lifts, keeping the right leg up. Now try to bring the right knee in line with your left knee. Point the toes out and inhale, lift the hips up and back down. So this is very good for strengthening your hamstrings. So make sure the knees are in line. You're not moving the leg, only your hips are going up and down. So practice this for about 3 to 5 times on each side. So obviously keeping a block under your right foot gives a lot of space, and it shortens the distance between the feet and the floor, and then the lifting becomes easier, but then you can also then pay more attention to the way you lift your hips up. So left leg up, make sure your left knee and right knee are in one line, point the toes out. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the hips up. So you're taking all your attention to your glutes, all your attention to your left hamstrings here. And slowly release. We're going to do a little bit of stretching the hamstring now. So once again, keep a block under your left foot. Bring the right knee to your chest. You can first start with a belt. You can loop a belt around the middle of your foot and gently pull that knee towards you. So make sure that you're not really pushing or pulling the belt towards you with too much of force. Just a gentle pressure. As I said, don't tense the muscle. Allow the muscle to open up gently and feel that opening in the back of your legs. Pull the knee towards your chest. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed and moving towards the mat. If you feel your hamstrings are open enough, you can slowly grab your big toes with your right palm. And if you want, you can also stretch your left leg out. And look, if you notice, I'm trying to keep a block under my left knee so that I'm not really stressing the knee joint. I keep my left palm on your left thigh and I'm gently pushing the left thigh down and stretching that right leg as much as I can. Now, if you notice, in this case, I'm able to hold my big toes and I'm able to straighten the right knee at least to a 90% extent. If you can go ahead and do that. But if it's kind of giving you a shooting pain, continue to use the belt for sure. Keeping a block under the knee, kind of releases the knee joint, releases the pressure from the knee, and helps you to explore a wider range of motion, especially in your forward bends. Moving on to the other side, right foot on the block, loop a belt around your left foot, middle of your left foot, hold the belt with your left hand, gentle pressure, not too much, right palm on the right thigh, pull the left knee close to your chest. And if comfortable, hold your left big toe. And you can always straighten the right knee and keep the block at maybe a mid height. Hold your left big toe with your left palm if your hamstrings are kind of open enough. And try to pull the left shoulder down towards the mat so that you're not really stressing the neck. I do find that my hamstrings are really tight today. They're super tight because I haven't been practicing my yoga as well for a couple of months. I've been just doing about twice a week or thrice a week maximum. So I can feel that in my hamstrings as well. So it's important to keep that regularity in your practice. And moving on to keeping the right foot over the left knee. Wrap your arms from inside, interlock your fingers around your left shins and pull the left knee close to your chest. This is a great opening for your hip flexors, great opening for your outer hips. These are all very, very nice, important stretches that you can do. Very beneficial, especially after, a sport, or after you've done a cycling, or after you've done kind of heavy run. These are all very nice stretches to open the hip joints, open the hip flexors, to bring some nice opening to your glutes, to the back of your legs. And from there, slowly come up. I'm going to show you one last pose. This is completely optional. It's Veerasana. This is for really stretching the front of your legs, which is your largest muscle group, the quadricep muscle. So I think this could be a little challenging for a lot of us, but try and see if you can. So roll the calf muscles out and see if you can sit between your knees. If you think that's difficult and if you feel a shooting pain in your knees, you need to immediately come off. You can try with a block under your hips. And if that's comfortable, you can go ahead and do that. But even if that gives you pain, then you're better off not doing this pose at this point. But for those of you who can try and attempt this, make sure your legs are not splaying out. Your feet are tucked in nicely towards on either side of your hips. Palms on your knees, keep your spine straight, draw the belly in, and try and hold this pose for about a minute if you can into Veerasana or the hero pose. Great for opening the front of your legs, your quadricep muscles. Great for your ankles as well, because you're kind of flexing your ankles, the front of your feet. And slowly release. Coming back to Parvatasana to just get the legs back into order. Staying there for a few breaths. Slowly release and lie down on your back. And this is a wonderful stretch. We call this as a banana pose, or actually called as Bananasana. So bring your right foot over your left foot, holding your right wrist with your left palm. Gently curve into a banana shape by moving the hip towards the right side. Move your legs to the left. Move your arms to the left and move your hips slightly to the right, creating a nice stretch on the right side of your body. And then repeat on the other side. You feel wonderful, especially after a nice, sweaty, strong, a strength training practice or a yoga practice also. This is a beautiful way to end your practice. A banana pose. Now left foot over your right foot, grabbing your right wrist with your left palm. A nice banana shape. Opening the left side of your body completely. Extend your elbows out completely. And relax completely. And as usual, I always like to end all practices with a nice juicy twist. So take your right knee over the left side. Keep a block under the right knee. Make sure that you're not stressing your right hip, outer hip muscle. And you want to make sure that your right shoulder stays on the mat. Stretch the right arm to the right side. You can support your right knee with your left palm. Feel that opening on the outer right hip completely. Great for people suffering from sciatic pain or an outer hip pain or even a lower back pain. This is fantastic to alleviate pains from any of these conditions. Try not to hold any tension in your body. Stay here for some time. Take your time. Relax completely. You can always increase the height of the block by placing 2 blocks or even a thick bolster. And moving on to the other side, bringing the left knee over to the right side. Make sure the right leg is stretched out completely. Using a block under the left knee. Feel that opening as I'm showing you here, the left outer hip all the way till the knee joint. Stretch your left arm to the side. Make sure the left shoulder stays on the mat and let go completely into your mats. And slowly release. Slowly relaxing into a nice, well-deserved Shavasana. And these are all just 20-minute practices that you can grab at any time during the day. You could do it in the morning, you could do it after your work hours. Slowly hugging your knees to your chest, rocking front and back, side to side. Make sure your lower back is pressing into the mat, doing some knee rotations. And gently rock up and down and slowly come up. And also finishing off with a little bit of a twist. Take a block behind you, bend the right knee. Marichyasana, hug the right knee to your chest. Take your right palm behind, twist and look over your right shoulder. And you can also make that into an Ardha Matsyendrasana or a little more deep spinal twist by bending the left knee, bringing the left elbow outside the right knee, squeeze that knee towards your chest. You can even hold your right foot with your left palm if you're comfortable, and twist and look over your right shoulder. Once again, this is a nice stretch for your right outer hip and also kind of creates a lot more space in your abdomen. And moving on to the other side, starting with Marichyasana and moving on to Ardha Matsyendrasana only if you're comfortable. Otherwise, you can simply just end the practice with Marichyasana as well. Make sure the right leg is active. Now taking that left foot outside the right knee, bend the right knee. Try to get your right elbow outside the left knee. Now make sure the right heel does not go under the left hip. Squeeze and see if you want, you can hold the outside of your left foot. Twist and look over your left shoulder. And you're all done. You're all set for the day. So continue to practice, continue to keep up with your yoga practice, stay safe, preferably do your practice outside if you can. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon with a lot more videos, hopefully. Thank you, and namaste.